This is Maven Smart System, Palantir's software as a service product that we are deploying across the entire department. As you can see, it's not just one data feed, it's multiple. And instead of having 8 or 9 systems for those decision makers to look at every single day in order for them to make decisions, you then fuse it into a single visualization tool. The single visualization tool allows you to select, deselect different types of data, look at different approaches to data, but more importantly, action from the same system that you're trying to develop your workflows around. Once you have a detection that you want to actually move into a targeting workflow, for example, this is what we do. Left click, right click, left click, magically, it becomes a detection. That detection then gets moved into a workflow. This is standard digitized workflow, but I want to walk you through it quickly. You have different types of targets that are identified on the left there. Every single column produces a different type of decision-making process. Once you have that decision and you're trying to actually action that process, we now move into COA generation, course of action generation, where we are automatically, via a number of factors, trying to identify what the best asset to prosecute a target looks like. Once we've got the different approaches and we select one, we then can move directly into how do we action that target. So we've gone from identifying the target to now coming up with a course of action to now actioning that target, all from one system. This is revolutionary. We were having this done in about 8 or 9 systems where humans were literally moving detections left and right in order to get to our desired end state, in this case, actually closing a kill chain.
Yeah, welcome back with another banger. Yeah. Hit that like, sub it up, don't react, bounce. Back with another banger. Hit that like, sub it up, don't react, bounce. Y'all feel me? Let's run it.
And what is the mark of the beast? It is digital ID. Okay, and this digital ID will also lead to digital currency. And they can actually put a microchip or a QR bar in your forehead, and this will be considered the mark of the beast, okay? And this is all part of the Christian Zionist eschatology. Another really important thing about the Freemasons is the idea of a one world government. Because remember, the Antichrist is the leader of a one world government, and it'll be based in Jerusalem, okay? And so the headquarters will be Solomon's temple, or the third temple. And then you have the Islamic eschatology, okay? In the Islamic eschatology is a response to all these other eschatologies, where they say that when the system is created, it will be called Dajjal, the Antichrist, okay? And when this happens, then Jesus will return to defeat the Antichrist. Okay, that's the mainstream Islamic eschatology. Then you have the Shia. Okay, the Shia are the Iranians, where they believe that it will be the 12th Imam Mahdi who will lead the followers, okay, the Ummah. Okay, Ummah just means community of believers, into victory against the Antichrist, the Dajjal, okay? So you can see how these eschatologies are basically lining up together, right? The Shia are the Iranians. The Islamic is the entire Arab world, right? Another eschatology that's very important is the Catholic eschatology. The Catholic eschatology we can call City of God, the church, which is Jerusalem. St. Augustine talks about this, about how the Catholic Church, it is the millennium, it is the Messianic age, because we represent God and we bring peace and prosperity to the world. Now, what's important about the church is that it became the dominant power in the world because Rome fell, okay? So Roman Empire collapses, but this is all part of God's divine plan, because Roman Empire, Rome, was the city of earth, okay, of power, of money, of wealth. And what matters is Jerusalem, the city of God, of spirituality, of divinity, okay? Now, the city of God came to an end because of the rise of the Protestants and the Anglo-American Empire. So for the Catholic Church to achieve its eschatology and establish again the city of God, what they need to do is also see the Anglo-American Empire destroyed, just like the Roman Empire. Okay? So that is the Catholic eschatology. The last eschatology I want to discuss is the Orthodox eschatology. And what's the Orthodox eschatology? The Russians. Okay? And this is called the Third Rome prophecy. The Third Rome prophecy is basically that Moscow will become the third Rome. Okay, the first Rome was Rome, second Rome was Constantinople, and the third Rome will be Moscow. And also, what's really important to appreciate is that there will be no fourth Rome. So when Moscow becomes the third Rome, history ends. Okay, and peace and prosperity will come to the world. Okay, so what does this mean? It means that Russia will unite the Orthodox world. Okay, so right now the Orthodox world is split into Eastern Orthodoxy and Greek Orthodoxy. Okay, and something that is very important that this prophecy says is that the Russians will defeat Turkey in a war, and then have the Greeks return to Constantinople, which is modern day Istanbul. Okay, that's what the prophecy says. And so you look at all these different eschatologies, okay? And again, guys, this is the majority of the world, right? If you actually look at the convergence points, you come to some startling conclusions, okay? So let's look at the convergence.
The law of eschatology convergence. Yo, these teachings are on another level. There's so many prophecies out there. Shout out to Predictive History, Dr. Jing. Very fascinating.
That fucker is you, Johnny.
I hear the rain comes.
That's a huge one.
Oh my God. Oh Lord, bless us. Please bless us.
Absolutely not. Y'all know that feeling when you're walking in the dark and it feels like somebody's about to reach out and grab you so you walk faster? Now imagine that feeling, but it being a real thing following you and you catching it on camera. That's exactly what happens here. A woman forgot something in her house, so she runs in real quick to grab it while her friends are in the car. She unlocks the door and gets in the house, but then her camera captures this. Just look at the end of her pathway at the street. What looks like a figure comes floating down the pathway. It stands still for a moment when it glides across the yard, and then again it stands completely still in the yard. Now what's really weird is in this video you can see the woman walking up to the door and you can see the definition of her, so I don't think this is camera compression. And the movement of this thing doesn't seem human if you watch it. Here it is standing there, it's just like an amorphous blob almost with limbs. It's solid gray. It moves forward and then moves sideways very quickly and then just stands there. But this still frame is what freaked me out the most because this thing looks like it's wearing a pointed hood. It almost looks like Pyramid Head from Silent Hill. What do y'all think about this? Let me know.
Yo, that's wild. Shout out to Chelsea. Whoa. Well, it could definitely be some gin, if you ask me.
What in the world? They're eating it. That's not right. Oh my God. Blood of Jesus.
The world hierarchy pyramid. This is what I've been studying for the past 2 years. So when all you guys are coming at me saying, I don't know what I'm talking about, you guys probably haven't even heard of 90% of the stuff on here. Here's a world that most people live in. religion, medical, government, World Economic Forum, central banks, hedge funds, real estate, energy, mining, communications, Netflix, entertainment, all this 3D shit. Now, up above here is who is really running this world. And so we got BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. We got George Soros in there. We got the Eastern Star, the Secret Handshake Clubs, Bohemian Grove, Skull and Bones, the Masonic, lots of Freemason shit in here, the Grandmasters. And then we go over here and you'll notice like this symbol right up there, that's tattooed on the hand of somebody very close to President Trump. Start digging into that. Here's all the levels of Freemasonry. If you want to learn about all of those, here's all the levels of Freemasonry right there. And then up above this, we have all the religious institutions that are running the world down below here. So again, this is a pyramid. We have the Jesuit order, the Mormon church is in here, Syrian law, the order of the Melchizedek. We'll scroll over here. We got the Vatican, the cult of Baal, the synagogue of Satan, the church of Satan. And all these things intermingle. And that's what people don't understand. We have all the bloodlines of the Illuminati over here. Then we have the off-world. We have Moloch. We have the Galactic Federation of Light, the Councils of Light, the Council of Elders, 144,000. We got Draco Reptilians, Enki, Enlil, Anu, the Anunnaki. Then up above here, we have the hierarchy of angelic realm. We have the seraphim, the cherubim, and then we have God. And then clear up at the top is the source, prime creator, the one who created all this shit. That's not who people are worshiping. People are worshiping the God right here. There's a different God. Nobody understands that. Then we have Sophia. Nobody talks about Sophia, how she went off on her own and tried to create her own children without a male counterpart. And that's where the demiurge came from. But nobody wants to talk about that. We have Lilith. We have Satan. We have Adam. We have Eve. We got Jesus. We got Mary Magdalene over here. These are more the Gnostic teachings. And then over here is the traditional religious teachings of Lucifer, Gabriel, Michael, the war in heaven. We have, again, Satan and Lilith. Some of these names come up over and over again. I think they're just different timelines, but we have Baphomet, the demons who possess Solomon, the Watchers, the Nephilim. Guys, there's so much. This is what I've been studying for the past 2 years. And so if you guys have not dove into this, I would highly suggest diving into this and learning more.
Wow, that's my first time seeing this world hierarchy pyramid. Shout out to Bearded Realtor Utah. Fascinating find right here.
When will you learn that me you cannot slay? Year after year you burn me in this grove, lifting your puny shouts of triumph to the stars. But when again you turn your faces to the marketplace, do ye not find me waiting as of old? Fools! Fools to dream ye conquer care!
Hey, thou mocking spirit, it is not all asleep. We know thou waitest for us, year after year within this happy grove. Our fellowship bans thee for a space. Thy malevolence which would pursue us here has lost its power under these friendly trees. So shall we burn thee once again this night, and in the flames that eat thine effigy, we shall read the sign, Midsummer sets us free.
You shall burn me once again! Now with these ways, which hither ye have brought from regions where I reign, ye fools and priests, I spit upon your fire.
Hail, fellowship's eternal flame! Once again, midsummer sets us free!
It's AI. We're going to zoom in on the coffee because they're talking about how full the cup of coffee is and the fact that it's moving and not spilling. Overflowing on the sides here, like it's tipping over the edge, but you're not seeing it spill. The design on the cup is going to it gets better. Like by the second, like right now you're watching that design, it'll almost be like right there. See it switch, like instantly got like almost like perfect there. And I could probably get a photo of those teeth. Let's pull it up on full screen here. Yep. And then now we're going to take a screenshot of it. Okay, now after this, I'm going to catch a jump frame. I'm just randomly scrolling through here. And all of a sudden it like jumped there. Like it actually jumped. Like he moved. Like watch his body move there. You're going to see it. See? 1 second he's there and then the next second it jumps over. I've never seen that in a camera.
Of now being lied to on a massive scale. You can't even trust your eyes and ears. You gotta use your brain. Because BB the Bomber here posted another video and I knew it was weird because he's in the same exact outfit at the same exact place. He never does that. And this was a follow-up of lifestyle interactions. And then I caught him. I caught their ass in 4K. Now look at this ring finger and I want you to see it disappear. And no worries, I'm gonna slow it down for you. Cause bro started moving, grooving, vibing, sliding, but ring is disappearing. Hold on, wait a second, run it back. It disappears in real time. I don't know if this is AI, I don't know if this is CGI, I don't know if this is some sort of camera trick, but I know one thing, ring fingers don't just disappear in 4K like that. And I know BB the Bomber here did not study at Hogwarts. He is not a wizard and he does not perform magic. So how does this ring disappear in 4K in real time? Unless this entire thing is fake. Now, like I said, I know for a fact they have more fake advanced shit that we're prepared for. I will never forget their 60-minute interview where they said the world is their stage and they are the writers, actors, and directors. And right now, we are seeing someone be fake kept alive to stay in a position of power, not lose the country's morale, and for us to stay choked up and cornered up like some fucking rats because we have to follow his every say-so. And in reality, this man is either dead or seriously injured because rings do not disappear and reappear on camera. What really confirmed it for me is he missed the meeting again. So he all of a sudden takes 2 days, pops out of this coffee shop, but he can't give a meeting with his advisors as he's the one leading the war, but he doesn't want to lead the meeting. This is nothing like BB the Bomber. We know he's an attention whore. Now all of a sudden, he's just in the cut like Neosporin, grabbing coffee, kicking it with the villagers. Fuck no, something is up. The puppet himself is leaning into it and say, hey, don't believe your eyes, don't believe your ears. No, that video from Iran, those hundreds of thousands of people, AI, generated. It's like, bitch, you don't even know what the difference between an AI and a real video is. And you're gonna tell the American people not to believe a video that clearly is fucking real. New York Times literally had to come out and say, no, this is authentic. We don't know why they're trying to say he's lying, but this is a real photo and a real video. And the reason Trump is lying because he knows he can never have this type of turnout. And he doesn't understand how these dictators around the world have obedience and have people that he sees cheering for them. When in his eyes, no, the Islamic regime, they're terrible. Yes, they are terrible, but do you know how many people are in Iran? 100 million. And do you know how many people would rather have the regime than the US or Israel come bomb and just try to take it over and then just put someone as leader? People think Iran is like this small country. There's 100 million fucking people over there.
We're officially at the dawn of a new age where you will not know what's real or what's fake. They'll say the fake things are real and the real things are fake. I warned of this moment coming 3 years ago. First off, it's really weird that so many socials are glitching right now, especially to post and to put videos up. Wonder why that is. A lot of controversy over the video that just got released, allegedly by BB himself, and also photos. Let's dive into this, whether it's real or not. And then after, the implications of this. So you may notice at the bottom I have that it's AI, and that's because us creators, we will get in trouble if we don't label things AI if they're AI. And about this video that BB himself posted, every single artificial intelligence thing is all claiming that it's artificial. Even Grok and a whole bunch of other AI chats are all saying that the video is artificial. I wonder why that would be. Also, the coffee shop that he is at right here is closed because of the conflict going on with Iran. Shut up. Much like the last video, I showed you guys that a whole bunch of different detectors all said it was AI. They had a security defense meeting, and he's always at these, and he was not there. Now his son has also not tweeted on Twitter in like 6 days now, and he usually tweets like 100 times a day. Now, of course, we have the coffee not spilling, you know, when he's drinking it. We have his head looking massively different than, you know, his head last time we saw him. He also has a new technological auto flapper pocket, which captures and releases his hand. I think that's just pretty cool. I'm not saying that they took him out, but tell me, what's up with all the AI footage? By the way, keep tab of all the talking head accounts on Twitter that keep claiming that this is our proof of life. The coffee shop on Instagram only posted the pictures and not the video because they're being torn apart. Also, they took down their Twitter account. Me personally, I believe that these photos were actually from a few years ago because everyone's wearing masks back like it was, you know, in 2020. And now, of course, after sending 5,000 troops, now the president is calling on a bunch of other countries to join this conflict, which he said we already won. The 9th time, we've won this 9 times already in the last few days. Why the AI slop? You know, AI has been around for like a long time, but it hit, you know, consumers recently. And I had a feeling it was not for us. Also, the journalist that was able to spot his location when his, you know, compound was hit, you know, they arrested that guy. Something is up, and it's gonna get a whole lot weirder. Let me know what you guys think below. Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake?
Yeah, my biggest issue is the coffee cup. It definitely like it overflowed to the left. You would definitely see something dripping down a cup or some coffee on the counter. Could very well be an old video as well. The pocket, that's weird. It's like as if it's real, but it's like CGI at the same time. It's wild. It reminds me of something I saw on last Friday night's live stream with Explore the Weird in the CK situation.
A message to the President of the United States. The outcome of war cannot be determined by tweets. The result of a war is determined in the field, the very place where you and your forces do not dare to approach, and you can only talk about it in your tweets. It's better to name this war as Epic Fear instead of Epic Fury.
Ancient Greece was in America. The Cherokee alphabet was Greek. Their original language was Greek before they switched to Mohawk. Their DNA is Greek. Let's look at this book. Look. Greek cross, Greek dress, Greek boats, Greek artifacts, all over. Just look. Possum Creek stone, Redbird petroglyphs. There are endless connections. Greece and Rome were east of the Mississippi up into Canada. Verrazano and the natives called this area Arcadia or Akkadi, a Greek area. This is the original Parthenon. Philadelphia is the original Philadelphia. DC is the original Rome. And Rome is Edom. Edomites are still Shemites or Semites, but Edomites weren't Israelites, so they couldn't be kings, they were dukes. Dug is another word for duke. The Doeg are Edomites. The Dug were a Potomac peoples. Potomac comes from the Greek word Potomi. Edomites were classified as servants or managers for Israel, just like Canaanites are servants, and Edomites crossbred with the Canaanites. Those offspring bred with Japhethites. These Japhethites adopted the culture of Judah. They were Jew-ish. These dukes are front office people. Dukes are stewards or stewards. King Charles was a steward, a Scottish doeg or duke. This is a Scottish flag, and that's why Charleston is the Little Jerusalem. Look, King Charles today is a front office person, related to the czars via the Duke of Edinburgh. Czar, Charles, Kaiser, Caesar, they're all the same. The word Cherokee is actually Saragi. Cherokee, Saragi, Turkey, Cherokee. They took over modern Greece and American Greece around the same time. Turkey means Indian. Columbus knew where he was going. That's why Cherokee men wore turbans. These are Cherokee wearing their Turkic Indian garb. Look, Turks are Yaphethites. The Turks, or Tsaragi, took over India as well. Charleston was in South Carolina. Turkish flag, Indian flag. We know about the day moons that worship the black cube of Saturn, like this. And Saturnalia was a Roman custom, and we've been stuck in it for hundreds of years now. The original Edomites or Romans were ruddy, but after years of mutant crossbreeding, they began to look more like this and this. The mutants took advantage of the matriarchy of the East Coast indigenous, the Pretendians. These mixed mutants had an alliance with the full mutants to run the so-called black indigenous off their land. Indigenous like Abraham the Great. He was supposedly a slave but knew the land better than everybody. So the indigenous and the mixed mutants got pushed further away from the coast and eventually into the interior via the Trail of Tears. That didn't stop the mixed mutants from bringing their prisoners of war though. They were used to usurp the true aboriginals, to fuel the identity crisis and keep the world inverted.
Ancient Greece was in America, and that's an interesting theory right there. Shout outs to Taylor Durden. I do agree that they hide the truth and try to keep everything inverted.
1996, NASA puts this satellite in space. The mission doesn't go as planned, but they discover something way more interesting. This is the STS-75 mission. It appears they got the Dodge guys on this one because this mission is ridiculous. The goal was to tether a satellite to the space shuttle and drag it through the Earth's magnetic field to see how much power they could generate. It generated so much power that it blew the connection to the space shuttle. As it was going, it attracted those guys, like moths to a light. But they are not moths, they called them plasmoids. They appear to be conscious. They behave very similarly to algae, where algae feed on light. These guys seem to consume electric charge. They've even classified them into species like these donuts that wander around like herbivores. These hunters who are possibly another Dodge product, they care about nothing more than going fast. The weirdest one, these shapeshifters that can replicate themselves. Dr. Peratt, a plasma physicist, has studied ancient petroglyphs and linked them to plasma phenomenon. Ancient humans possibly saw this and thought they were aliens. They show conscious behavior, so are they? Plasma animates life in human form. Every time we measure brainwaves or heart rate, we're reading some form of plasma. Strip away all the material layers of a human, with thoughts, memories, and the animating life force. If that's all plasma, then it makes a lot of sense. It doesn't stop there. Plasma doesn't just animate matter, it seems to be the thing that creates it. Plasma makes up 99.9% of the universe. Stars make every heavy element up to iron. When they supernova, they make all the other stuff. Cold fusion, or atomic alchemy, uses the symmetrical compression of ionized air to create a donut plasmoid. By modulating time instead of energy, new research shows that any element can be created as long as we know that element's frequency, which is just how fast it's vibrating. I've got a bigger question. What does it say about that guy? Is it one massive being made up of a crazy amount of these guys? You control billions of cells and organisms that form muscles and tissues and organs. Could that not be the same? Shout out to my man Jared for showing me the research paper on this. Jared is a Forge member. Thank you very much, buddy. If you want to look more at this research paper, it is very interesting.
Very interesting indeed. Make sure you go check it out. Shout outs to baseforge.us, Living Plasma. New evidence, it's conscious. I think it's absolutely possible.
World War III might look a lot different than we thought. You see, this is the world's first humanoid robot that was actually sent to the front lines for testing last month. And it could change the battlefield forever. It's called the Phantom Mk1. It's 5'9", weighs 175 pounds. It can hold various weapons, including a revolver, pistol, shotgun, rifles, etc. And according to Time magazine, it's the world's first humanoid robot specifically developed for defense application. And this is not
not just something hypothetically in the future. It's happening now. Its creator, a US startup called Foundation Robotics, just sent 2 of these things to Ukraine last month to test them on the front lines. And it's not just that. Foundation already have research contracts with the US Army, Navy, and Air Force. They're due to begin tests with US Marines, and the Pentagon is even considering these robots for potential deployment in combat scenarios. But the thing is, humanoid robots take the moral questions that we already have for drones to another level. I mean, the key difference is in the name, humanoid, meaning they're designed like a human so that they can carry out tasks only humans would be needed to carry out at war. And it's crazy to say, but a lot of these questions might need answers sooner than you think, because Foundation Robotics alone have a planned mass production goal of 50,000 robots by 2027.
50,000 Terminators about to hit the streets. Shout out to Dylan Page. As he was talking, the Terminator theme song was playing in my mind. Game over. We ain't getting no GTA 6 at this point.
I said, where are you from? He said, I'm from your planet that your Bible calls the morning and the evening star. I said, Venus? He said, yes, the inside of Venus. I said, how did you get here? He said, I came in a saucer craft which is called Victor 1. I said, what is your name? He said, Commander Valiant Thor. He said, you call me Val. I said, thank you. And how long have you been here? 3.5 years, this coming March 16th of 1960. And what have you been doing here? He said, I've been conversing with the President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower, and Mr. Nixon, who I met personally some years afterward, and several members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He said, I brought a gift for them. And this gift was in my hands, and I looked into the eyes of Mr. Eisenhower. I said, this information will do away with sickness, disease, and even death in the United States, and then you can share it with other nations. Gave it to the President. President Eisenhower received this information. It took them over 1 year to get back to the commander. He was their guest for 3 years at the Pentagon. And 1 year later, the President came back, met with the commander again, with this information in his hands, shaking his head. He said, I'm sorry. We cannot accept this information because it will ruin the economy of the United States.
כוחות של מג"ב פה רודפים פה אחרי עלות. האם בקפלן ככה הם מתנהגים? תראו מה הולך פה, בלגן אחד גדול. תראו איזה, שזה מדובר בחרדים, הכל טוב, נופלים פה.
It gets stranger. This man is named Larry Silverstein, and he is both the dumbest and the luckiest businessman in the world. He's the stupidest businessman in the world because 6 weeks before 9/11, he buys the lease to the World Trade Center. Okay? Why is that stupid? Because the World Trade Center has asbestos, like a dangerous chemical. So they had to clean or remove the asbestos. The problem is the cost of removing all that asbestos would have been more than the value of the Twin Towers. That's kind of stupid, okay? Why would you lease the Twin Towers knowing that you have to put all this money into renovation, which would bankrupt you? Also, what's stupid is to have the lease, you're required to have insurance, okay? And so the insurance company says, we value the World Trade Center at $1.5 billion, okay? And Larry Silverstein says, no, it's not $1.5 billion. They are worth $3.5 billion. So he is asking to pay more insurance than he needed to. That's kind of stupid. But again, he's the luckiest man in the world because 9/11 happens, and guess what? He can now claim that 2 towers were struck, and therefore he should get twice as much as 3.55 million. He should get 7 billion. And he sued, they went to court, he got 4.55 billion. Okay? He's also lucky because He's a workaholic. He never misses work. But that day, because of a dermatology appointment, he had to miss work. He wasn't there when 9/11 happened. The luckiest man in the world. Okay? So this teaches us that in life, do not be smart, just be lucky. Okay? That's all you need.
And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the deep dive. If you enjoyed this video, please consider to give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Shout outs to all the reactors. Thanks again. Till next time.